What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Saturday night edition of AEW Dynamite tonight. This is on Saturday, as it will be next Thursday, and not even on Wednesday by next week also. Due to the whole NBA schedule going on right now, basically AEW has been moved around on TNT, and tonight it was moved on to Saturday. Now, I've watched the show now tonight. Basically after I did TakeOver and my review to TakeOver, so I basically had recorded and I watched it from there. Now I know there were a little bit more scheduling issues because the NBA game did play a little bit longer than it did scheduled, so AEW actually came on later at that time, not even at 5 o'clock over here. It was actually, I believe, about 5:40 when I went back and looked at the DVR. So yeah, AEW didn't really come on till later on and whatnot, but sometime this review should be uploaded later on tonight, okay, of whatever time I'm doing this right now. But other than AEW being on Saturday night tonight, there is one thing I do want to speak on before I actually go into the review. Now, I know everybody's heard from yesterday or two that AEW is actually letting fans back in the building. 10% of fans, by the way. I believe that's equaled up to 500 people. And they're letting people back, apparently. Now, I do have a couple things to say about this. Number one, I believe this is just a counterattack to WWE, because WWE has had that Thunderdome they just announced last week, this week, or whatever day you want to call this right now. But since WWE announced that, AEW, I guess, has now counterattacked them and let fans in, since WWE wants to do the Thunderdome thing. So, one, I don't know if this is a good idea to actually let fans back in the building right now for obvious reasons with the virus and whatnot. Number two, this is Florida of all places, and we know how Florida has been really bad when it comes to this virus, okay? Like, bad, really bad. Like, we've seen it on the news that they have either the most cases or been called the epicenter of this entire virus. So I don't know the best idea if, letting Florida, especially in Florida, letting them get away with this. Now, listen, I'm all for safety precautions. I know AEW is probably going to have a strict policy going on with masks and temperature checks and keeping fans separate from each other, which I believe they're supposed to be putting in these pods or whatnot. So they're keeping them away. We know that. That's a fact and everything. And it's good that they're taking precautions. But like I said before, this is Florida we're talking about, okay? And we know how bad it's been over there from either just bad government or mayor decisions over there, and we've seen the outcome of it, and how I can go from opening stuff has backfired on a lot of people too. Big time backfired on a lot of people, okay? Like schools and whatnot, but when you think about it, what other wrestling promotions even letting fans in right now? And yes, I do know that New Japan has let fans back in since about a few months ago, since Dominion and whatnot. And listen, they've done the same thing also, as in, temperature checks and people wearing masks and social distancing, trying to keep, people at a limited capacity when letting people into these buildings. And listen, I think New Japan, they've done a good job at it. Now, I know recently, I believe a wrestler got a fever and whatnot that they had to cancel a show. But then again, that's Japan and that's America. I don't know how the virus is doing over there in Japan right now. I don't know if it's, good or bad, if it's gotten better. I don't know that. I'm just kind of going what I see here right now, in America and what's going on in Florida and whatnot. And I know Florida is still really bad when it comes to this virus, okay? And listen, I've seen fans be hypocritical online at the same time too, about if you even try to go against not WWE, but go against AEW on the whole letting fans back in thing, you're either A, a hater, or B, you just don't know what wrestling is, which I've heard that from several people now, and it's borderline retarded, to be honest, because even I've seen WWE had tried to do this a while ago, wanting fans back in, but it's bad. But if AEW does it, then it's good for some reason. So, I don't know. I've seen fans become very hypocritical when it comes to letting fans back in, which, like I said, people want them to come back in and do this as, like I said, this is a counterattack. And like I said before, it is at an outside venue and whatnot, but I don't know, man. I don't think this is the best idea. I was okay with them just using the wrestlers and the staff as the fans, which, I called that for a long time now. A long time ago when this whole virus thing began and we didn't let any fans in. I thought it was a way to, make crowd reaction and whatnot, but I don't. Like I said, I just don't think this is the smartest idea. Like I said, it's in Florida. It's probably one of the worst place where the virus is at right now. But then again, every other sport is mostly kind of operating out of Florida when you look at it right now. But like I said, hopefully, they can keep people safe. Because listen, this can backfire anytime, people, and I've seen it when folks have tried to open everything and let a lot of people in, then a few people catch the virus. Whose fault is that, okay? Because in a way, you're still entering at your own risk too, and who do you blame, the company or yourself? So it could go as a, both way type of thing right there, but I don't know. I just know fans will be back next week. I just don't think this is the smartest idea. That's my opinion, though. I still believe this is a counterattack and whatnot, but we'll see what happens if they're able to handle it. If they're able to do it, then good. If they can keep everybody safe, then good on them and whatnot. But I don't know, man. I'm just kind of looking at this as I don't know, man, but I just know they're gonna be taking a lot of precautions and hope for the best, but like I said, this is Florida we're talking about, people. This is Florida we're talking about. But moving on from that, getting to the actual show itself, we actually kick it off with Private Party versus FTR. No entrances. The match pretty much basically started as soon as the show started itself. Tully Blanchard was out there with FTR. Good match. Pretty good tag match, I will say. Now, I saw Tully was wearing like an FTR jacket with his name on there. I know people have been saying that they could be trying to reform some type of Four Horsemen type of group going on. I don't know, but I've been hearing that for a while now about whatever they're trying to reform Four Horsemen. I don't know if Sean Spears is part of this too, if Tully is out there hanging with FTR now. I know Isaiah Cassidy had jumped out the ring trying to, I think, going for a Wheeler, I believe, but Tully pulled him out the way. And then next, FTR hit the Goodnight Express onto Mark Quinn for the win. And, pretty much hitting the 1, 2, 3 and going off from there. So FTR get another win on this show, but I do believe it's going to be some type of group or something coming soon. I'm not sure, but they got Tully with them. We'll see what happens from that. But next, though, we did get a promo from Jon Moxley, basically talking about his match coming up at All Out and talking about MJF and what he did to him last week on Dynamite and whatnot. Basically going off to, MJF has said a lot of terrible things about him. But hey, if you want to hear a lot of bad things about me, everyone said I recommend you go talk to my wife. She's got a long list of it. Hey, she may end up in this company soon. I don't know. But Mox went on to say that MJF talks a lot and that tough guys generally are, men of few words. But, he questioned what MJF has to hide. And, people want to say that he's the future and, he hopes he's right and wants AEW to go 25 years into the future and have very successful. Because, he doesn't know if he'll have another 25 years left. But Mox says maybe one day MJF will move out of his parents' basement, lose his virginity, and one day become a world champion. But it will not be on September the 5th at All Out because he plans on splitting his skull open and using his skull to hit, his skull, and it's going to bleed all over the place. Because in September, it will be in his glory, and, he's going to find out what MJF has been hiding, and the world will know too. Okay, MJF did have a rebuttal though, of course having his podium and whatnot, basically still making this look like some type of presidential election. MJF went on to talk about Genghis Khan and Napoleon, that they all pale in comparison to the dictator known as Jon Moxley, that Mox attacked him like a coward last week and reminded him of all the actions that have consequences to this. But MJF says, I wanted to have a family one day and have kids, and he wants to be able to play with them one day, but he can't do it if he's crippled and he's wearing a neck brace and trying to hold himself up, and that the paradigm shift is an abomination. And his attorney there, Mark Sterling, I believe it was Sean Spears, labeled the move as a dangerous move that can cripple or end anybody's career. And there's a petition out now, which they have 5 million signatures to what they've claimed, and that Moxley's a man, he would agree to sign this, and if he refuses, he will be sued, and we will take the title from him. Okay, so, not a bad promo, I should say, from MJF in this whole, presidential thing that's going on with him right now. I thought that was actually kind of funny, just him trying to fake the injuries and whatnot, leading to the pay-per-view. So, not a bad promo from both MJF and Jon Moxley, I will say that. I think Mox had the better one this time, though. But moving on, though, we got the Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade versus the Natural Nightmares, QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and the Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Let me say this match was kind of botchy, in my opinion. First off, I swear to God, Jungle Boy nearly killed himself doing a suicide dive, and he just went over the Butcher's head. This match was all over the place, okay? It was all over the place. I swear Luchasaurus could not get Pentagon up going for a choke slam. And the biggest botch out of this whole match was that Canadian Destroyer, which I guess Dustin had did it on the Phoenix, and it looked horrible, let me say that. And it ended up with, Jungle Boy getting the win because Pentagon and Blade argued, and Jungle Boy pretty much rolled him up after. Next thing you know, we got Eddie Kingston coming out talking about, hey, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all ain't living up to your potential. We all came from the indies, and we on the big time. This TNT, right? The home for drama, but we causing drama right now. Listen, we came up together and whatnot, pretty much talking about how, Pentagon is supposed to be one of the badass luchadors, and, Butcher's supposed to be, be this big deal around here. And, telling Blade we came from the, the bottom and whatnot. We paid dues and whatnot, but we need to go somewhere. We got to do something. And how about we all agree? We just need to work together and whatnot, which they all shook hands and hugged. And, Eddie Kingston gave a smile to the camera then. I don't know where this is going unless Eddie Kingston's trying to form his own group with the Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade. Honestly, both of these teams need something. I like the Lucha Brothers, but I feel like, they should be on a higher spot in the card. Butcher and the Blade have just been designated job guys to God knows how long. So maybe Eddie Kingston can help with this. I don't know, but we'll see what happens with that, but he did cut a good promo out there, so it looks like they got Eddie Kingston doing something on here, so good for him. Next, though, they went to Britt Baker. I guess they had Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford there about, free dental care for a year if they can help her with her big swole problem in a match coming up. Next, Tony Schiavone was in the ring with Orange Cassidy, talking about his big win last week on Chris Jericho, which they were going to interview him, but Chris Jericho came out and pretty much said, Orange Cassidy's a man of few words, and he wanted to congratulate him for beating him last week on Dynamite, and he had a bottle of champagne, but listen, Jericho's only been beaten 3 times since this company started back in, October, where they went to TV and whatnot in October 2019. And, he lost to a guy that puts his hands in his pockets. But Jericho pretty much says he was proud of Orange Cassidy in a way because he proved to everyone that he has the drive and, become a main eventer in AEW, which, honest to God, that match wasn't even really good last week. Very botchy, but I'm not going to go back on that. That wasn't really a good match last week, especially the finish to that. But Jericho pretty much went on and says, we both got 1-1 against each other, so now we have to have a rubber match, a third match, to determine who the better man is. And Jericho said he is the genius behind, involving ladders and briefcases, Money in the Bank. And now he has a new stipulation he made up called the Mimosa Mayhem match, okay, which, Orange Cassidy loves orange juice, and Jericho loves a little bit of the bubbly, and they had a video package that you can win by pinfall or submission or throwing your opponent into a giant mimosa. Basically, 80 gallons of orange juice and 5 tons of champagne. And Jericho wanted an answer, which Cassidy put his thumbs up and whatnot. And, the inner circle came out. We wanted to have a toast and everything. They had a drink, and then Jericho says, "Get 'em, boys." And then next, the Inner Circle ended up beating up Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. Jericho gave him the Judas effect and pretty much poured the champagne off him, calling him a piece of shit. First off, I don't even want to see another match from this, and it's going to be at All Out. I honestly don't, especially, I want this to be over. I really do, okay? I'm kind of done watching this. Number two, okay, this is now Jericho's newest idea. All right, Money in the Bank, that was a genius idea. This match right here, this Mimosa Mayhem, this sounds like a big spectacle coming up, which I guess someone will be thrown into this, a mimosa, yes, a mixture of champagne and orange juice. So, yeah, I guess that's going to sell the pay-per-views one way or another, okay? So, get ready for a big spectacle match coming up. Hopefully this is the last, because I really don't need to see this match again, okay? I just don't want to see it, all right? I don't need to see a third one. And now the minute I heard orange juice and champagne in this giant tub of it, I just kind of rolled my eyes, but I'm assuming Jericho's going to get his win back, okay? I'm really going to assume that. Next, though, we got the Dark Order versus the Elite. I guess the Dark Order was Fives, or Allen Angels, I guess his name is, and Reynolds and Silver there, going against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. All I could think from this match was Spot Fest, of course, which it wasn't bad, but listen, man, when I see the Elite, especially with the Bucks and Kenny, you know you're going to get a Spot Fest out of this, and of course, a Meltzer driver onto Angels, and then Omega picked them up and hit them with the one wing angel. This big super combo move and whatnot. I still think it was funny when Randy Orton buried one of the Bucks on Instagram last week. That was actually funny. But yeah, this was a spot fest. And then Kenny Omega pretty much started beating up the Angels. Guy was gonna power bomb him onto a chair, but Matt Jackson stopped them. Okay, let me say this. Number one, like I said, this match was basically a spot fest, okay? I've seen it from Kenny and the Bucks many times in the past. But it was somewhat still not bad. Number two, if this is a way to lead Kenny into turning heel, I hope so. I'd rather see the cleaner again than this Omega that's going on right now. At least the cleaner was something. Make it somewhat similar like it was in New Japan or something, because I'm really not the biggest fan of the current Kenny Omega right now, so hopefully they do turn him heel. I don't know. But right after, they had Alex Marvez interview FTR and Tully, which I guess they're going to be in this gauntlet match next week to see who will face for the tag team championships. Between them, the Natural Nightmares, the Young Bucks, and the Best Friends. Next thing you know, Adam Page pretty much came in. Talking about what was all that about last week. Hangman was pissed off, but FTR pretty much, said that they felt disrespected. It had nothing to do with them, and that they had to fake that knee injury last week just to prove that, if you could trust Omega and the Bucks, and that's what happened. And now they have to make a name for themselves, and they pretty much tried to convince them, like, why don't you step out of the shadow of the Elite, man? We got something to pitch to y'all, right? Like, come with us, all right? You've been in the shadow of them for too long, because what happens if you do lose those titles, huh? You'll go be back being under their wing, so think about it. Why don't you come under us and, get you somewhere? So, yeah, Hangman could be joining FTR and them, which that's possibly the thing. That would be a good idea, because I guess he doesn't really need the Elite anymore. So, yeah, Hangman's the only other person I like out of the Elite nowadays anyway. Darby Allin came out to go against Will Hobbs. Darby Allin's been gone for a minute. Well, not that long of a minute, but quick match. Darby Allin got the win with the coffin drop. Actually okay. I'm not surprised this match actually went on for a minute, so it wasn't, I guess, all the way a squash match. But Taz got on the mic then, talked about how Darby, he needs to join Team Taz, and I got a new member. His name's Darby also. It was Ricky Starks basically dressed as Darby, and he had a mic, pretty much mocking him in his promo, talking all dark and skateboards, and he's all this dark brooding person and whatnot, and that Darby Allin is reckless with a skateboard and thumbtacks, and he likes skateboarding and titles, and that life is a joke. But Brian Cage ended up sneaking up behind Darby Allin, taking him down with the FTW title. I'm surprised he's still carrying that belt, but Ricky Starks came out and says, just start talking a whole bunch of mess to Darby Allin. You're a joke. You're nothing. I'm better than you. I don't need to paint my face to be somebody. And, you know, I'm Ricky Starks, and, you know, basically took the skateboard and hit Darby Allin with it and did his own coffin drop. Looked kind of sloppy, but he ended up doing it on him then. Next, Sammy Guevara came out with signs, which they always go to commercial and picture, but Matt Hardy ended up coming out with a chair, hitting him with it then, which I'm kind of mad they did. Why would you go to picture? And then they actually went to commercial when he's still hitting him with the chair, but by the time they came back from commercial, Matt Hardy was still beating him up. He threw him off the stage onto some announce tables and whatnot, and then Matt got a chair, the same one that Sammy used on him to make him bleed a few weeks ago. I actually thought this match was going to be tonight, but referee stopped Matt Hardy and took him away. So the match will be next week, and it's going to be a tables match, so we'll see what happens from that. But right after, we got Thunder Rosa, the NWA Women's Champion, who called out Hikaru Shida. She wants a match at All Out that she wants to give AEW and the fans of TNT the match that this division needs. So, you know, as Hikaru Shida, does she accept the challenge? So, listen, I've said this before. I've noticed they've been bringing a lot of NWA guys in. I'm almost surprised they even had the NWA Women's Champion or any champion show up. I'm almost still expecting Magnus to show up. I'm not saying it's going to be some invasion angle that's going to happen with the NWA, but obviously the NWA is not really doing anything right now. I don't know what Billy Corgan has set up, and we haven't seen them in a very long time, so I can't really comment on the status for NWA. Hey, we had the Rock and Roll Express on here last weekend. They were from the NWA, so now we got Thunder Rosa this week. That should be a really good match between her and Hikaru Shida, because honestly, they really have no opponents for Hikaru Shida in this company right now, so let's bring in someone from a whole different company. We bring in the NWA Women's Champion. What's it going to be next? We going to bring in Deonna Purrazzo, Knockouts champion. We going to bring in the Ring of Honor Women. Well, we don't even have a Ring of Honor Women's champion right now because they took the belt off of Kelly Klein there. Still never finished that tournament yet, but are we now going to start bringing in different women's champions from different companies now? Stardom, what's next, huh? Because I'm somewhat not surprised by this at the same time. I've noticed they've been bringing in a lot of people from the NWA. I don't know if they have some type of working relationship with AEW. I'm not sure, but apparently somebody leaving and just signing with them anyways, like Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston there. So, like I said, don't be surprised if Magnus ends up showing up on this show. But Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida should be a good match at All Out. Next, the finals of this tournament. We have Beta Scott on commentary and Shaw Guerrero to do the introductions for this whole, the women's tournament that's been going on. Allie and Brandy, the Nightmare Sisters, versus Ivelisse and Diamante. Listen, it's not much I can say about this match. Okay, listen, I didn't really watch any of this tournament. I'm glad I didn't watch this tournament. It obviously was a waste of my time, and I knew how bad the matches were. I know some of the women are good in this tournament, but I'm not really surprised that Brandy and Allie made it to the end of this whole thing, which I just took as a joke anyways, and still trying to sell those action figures I see, but I took it as a joke, especially once I knew Brandy and them were going to be in the finals. And I even said this a while ago, do not be surprised if Brandy and Allie make it to the finals. And don't be even surprised if they win. Because if they won, I would have started laughing, okay? I really would have. The match itself was whatever, to be honest. And surprisingly, Diamante and Ivelisse ended up getting the win. Now, I know people are going to say it's probably going to be some more story with Brandy and Allie pretty much still arguing why they lost. I'm surprised they're even doing a tag tournament throughout this entire time for a trophy, because they barely even know how to book the women right now or the champion. So why did we need tag teams in this tournament? I still question that. I really do. And it good for Ivelisse and Diamante. Not going against that, all right? But I don't know what really else comes from this tournament. I honestly don't. I'm just glad Brandy and Allie didn't win, because I would have just laughed if Brandy won this tournament, because it would have just been her just booking herself to the top. And what they, what's the name? Medusa. Oh, yes, the person that moaned and complained about the dancers on Monday Night Raw and that Raw Underground, and that's why they were taken away because of her, right? yeah, well, what was all the... That was just bitching from her, to be honest, okay? I don't even know why WWE even listened to that and even took away the dancers. What, because one person complained about it? Who gives a shit, okay? They really shouldn't have taken that away. But that is the person that did bitch and complain on Twitter about it, though. So I just wanted to point that out. But Ivelisse and Diamante basically took the trophy and put up the Puerto Rican flags. Didn't want to, I guess, accept the flowers and everything. As Medusa made a little quick cameo and left. But then we get to the main event between Brody Lee and Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship, which this was a squash match, which Cody Rhodes got no offense in this. Basically, Brody Lee beat the living dog crap out of Cody. Cody got a little move at the beginning, but Brody Lee just drop kicked him, slammed him outside the ring, threw him into the barricade, fought around into the crowd area, just throwing chairs all over the place. Super kicking him, German suplexing him, just Arn Anderson trying to help, but Brody Lee hit a jackknife powerbomb and a second one, and it was over, okay? He beat Cody Rhodes in 3 minutes. What the fuck was that, okay? That is something I did not expect. And then next, the Dark Order celebrated as Brody Lee took the mic and they say, nobody thought I could do this, but you all created this monster, and now he's going to be a problem for AEW. And whatnot, and that the executives like, Tony Schiavone right there who's interviewing him, I got that chance, and now he's knocked it out of the park as Cody was being stretched out of here then. And, he put a thumbs up, but the Dark Order ended up pretty much still attacking Cody and Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson tried to fight back, but the Dark Order beat him up. They threw Cody onto the stage then. Brody Lee had this black bag and hit Cody in the head with it. Next thing you know, they drug out QT Marshall and Dustin, who already beat up Brandy. Tried to cover Cody, but Anna Jay came out and choked her out, and Brody Lee basically dumped the old TNT title on top of Cody, the remaining pieces of it, as Brody Lee stood with the new title. Okay, this was very unexpected. I don't think anybody expected this to happen. This was basically a squash match, which doesn't make sense. Basically, this is now going to have some feud between Cody and Brody Lee for this TNT title for a while, and the Nightmare family and the Dark Order, so expect that to happen. I don't really need to see a feud from this. Listen, I've said this about the Dark Order before. I just think the group sucks. I've even called them the Dork Order, that these guys take so many L's that now they've had to, well, I guess for once they had to make these guys look super strong as possible by having Brody Lee beat the living dog shit out of Cody and beat him in 3 minutes, which now I question, I question out a whole, open challenge thing every week, because Brody Lee had to win in a way because, number one, the last time we put him in a title match, which he immediately just entered the company, got a title match, and look what happened. He lost. So I guess they couldn't do the same thing again, so they had to make him look strong as possible with the Dark Order and have him beat up Cody and his entire crew, okay? So, maybe the Dark Order was come with something. At least it's grabbing attention to what was done tonight, because I just don't give a crap about the group in general because they just lose all the time. But now maybe this will give them something. Brody Lee has a title, so let's see where this goes between him and Cody. It's gonna be a feud now. I just didn't expect this to just be a blowout squash match. That's something I really didn't expect. He just beat the dog shit out of Cody and won. So that was very unexpected from this. As of this episode itself, not a bad show. I will say that. Very surprising main event. Don't care about the tag tournament. Actually good to see Thunder Rosa on there. Well, what else do we have on this show? The Darby Allin stuff in this Taz feud. We'll see where that goes. Jon Moxley had a good promo out there. FTR and Hangman, let's see where this goes. And the match with Private Party was alright. Elite Dark Order squash match, don't really care. That 8-man tag was just sloppy all over the place. Whatever this Mimosa Mayhem thing is going to happen, I really don't want to see a third match, but expect that to be a spectacle coming up. Wow, I could not say that word, spectacle. But, that's what we're going to get here, folks, okay? That's what we're going to get. But very surprising ending to this show. All right. Didn't know what to expect from this. But other than that, this is the Saturday night edition of AEW Dynamite tonight. So we will see you next Thursday for this review. But we will be back tomorrow night with a SummerSlam review. So other than that, I'm out here. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Check out any other video that is up online right now. Tell me what you think about this show tonight. Do you think it's a good idea letting fans back into the building and everything? And will this work or will it backfire? I don't know. We'll see. But other than that, that's my AEW review. I'm out. Yeah, I've already repeated myself. So, yeah, you know, it's me, HWD, coming in news reviews. No, I am, no, I do. Showing up low, here I go. It's going down. Keep it tight. We're done with this review of Dynamite. Okay.